Welcome back to Crit and Crit. I am Axion.
I'm Scint.
And we are continuing our way through Terry Pratchett's Hogfather and our playthrough of Pokemon Christmas.
You know, I just love the expression on Quillfish's face.
The eternally angry glare and looks like he had way too much Christmas pudding.
I mean, it's kind of a mood this time of year, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, today we are going to be looking at something that we've kind of talked about a fair bit, at least in regards to Susan. How society wants people to be a certain way, and when you fall outside of that, you feel this overwhelming need, this desire to just fit in, to be normal. Even if what normal is physically unattainable for you. Like Susan, admittedly, has a very extreme case with this. She cannot be a normal person because she is basically half deaf. She can ignore walls, she can pause time, she can force people to answer questions with a compelling voice. She is not normal. She has to make an actual concerted effort to not do these weird supernatural things. And a lot of the time, all she wants is to just not have this part of herself.
I think we can all sympathize with that to one degree or another.
Oh yeah, it's something that, like, you could easily take into an allegory for so many different things. Like, I'm looking at this just in this case of, like, I don't want to be the special one that has to go do the things and solve the problems. Which, honestly, that's kind of a thing. Like, it's weird because, you'd see that come up from time to time. Like, honestly, the one that comes to mind for me is Megamind. Spoilers, by the way, but it does come up there. But, the reverse of this actually comes up a lot more in fiction, where I just want to be special. I want to find something unusual about myself. I want to be able to stand out. I want to not just be this run-of-the-mill, forgettable, average normie. I want something. And the one that comes to mind for me... Okay, I wasn't going to go with that one, but it was going to be Disney. You want to guess?
The I Want to Be Special story from Disney?
Yeah.
You know, I'm probably gonna kick myself for not being able to think of it off the top of my head. No, I'm drawing a blank.
Encanto.
Oh, right. I didn't think of that one because it was new.
That's probably why it's in my head. And, like, it is legitimately in my head.
Because we don't talk about Bruno will never leave your head.
That's what I said. It's in my head. Oh, wait. I just remembered. We're going to the Elite Four, right?
Yep.
Bruno's in the Elite Four, isn't he?
Yes. Unless
well, I guess we're going to have to be really quiet during that fight because we can't commentate on it.
Unless
I completely forgot Pokemon had a Bruno.
Yeah, unless the hacker changed the Elite Four. I don't know. Stop missing! I want to punch the stupid crab.
You want to punch the crab out of it. Wow, my pun was so good it confused him.
Anyway, Encanto.
Yeah, so our main character is the only one in her family who does not have a special power. And she desperately wants one so she can fit in better with her family. So in a way, you know, being normal is being an oddball, which actually is also the case for Furies of Call the Codex Alera. The Furies of Calder being the first one in that, with the main character being the only one in the entire series who does not have the ability to call on the Elemental Furies.
We may look at the Codex Alera series sometime in the future.
It's a fun read.
It really is. And it's basically Pokemon.
Well, I mean, but basically, it literally is Pokemon.
That's what I was about to say, is don't take my word for it, take the author's word. But we're getting distracted from Discworld.
Yes, which is impressive, because, yeah. So, I'm trying to think if there is someone in Discworld who would fit the reverse, because, like, we definitely have Susan, and to an extent, Death, who want to be normal, but I'm trying to think of somebody who really, really, really wants to be special.
I can think of somebody. Agnes.
Okay, yeah. Not in this one, so I was kind of trying to think within the bounds of Hogfather, but yeah.
No, I don't think there's anyone in Hogfather. But in Discworld as a whole, there is
Agnes.
I
can definitely see that.
Agnes is a young girl from one of the witch books who wants to be a witch. And, we may, as we said back at the beginning of this series, we definitely are going to be looking at more Discworld. So we may eventually get to the book that she's in, or where she's in several books, but where she's introduced. And when we do, we'll look at her deal, but she is very much the kind of character who is, I am boring, I am normal, I want to be something unique and special.
I think the downside with doing a witch's book is that we're going to argue over which one to do.
Honestly,
no pun intended.
Honestly, just start at the beginning.
Maybe.
It's just easier to start at the beginning if we can't decide any other way.
But, yeah. So, what do you do when you're in a world as crazy as the Discworld, and when normal is such a relative phrase? All Susan wants to do is be normal, but what does that mean? For her, it's, I don't want to have these special superpowers. For Death, it's, I want to, be human and experience things the way humans do, more blah 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 blah. But, like, there's so much variation between the characters in Discworld. I mean, you have humans, you have dwarves, you've got whatever Navi is, you know? So, it's not like there's a one-size-fits-all how to be normal. And even among those, we have various different factions that do things differently. Like, then you have all of the homeless people that we meet, like including fellow Ron with his good old Millennium Hand and Shrimp that you like to quote so much. You've got the wizards, who I would not call normal in any respect, but they are treated as just such an integral part of Ankh-Morpork that they can be considered normal. For, a loose definition of normal.
Nobody wants to be around them, but they're not seen as something unnatural. Which, to be fair, nobody wants to be around Foul Ron and his friends, either. For completely different reasons.
Well, I don't know, like, it's, you don't want to get something on you, and it's just a matter of what the thing is. The exploding magic is a little more lethal than whatever Foul Ron smells like.
So, and honestly, this is kind of a recurring theme in Hogfather, is just people not fitting in. I mean, Susan doesn't fit in with humanity. Death doesn't fit in with humanity. Albert is actively stuck outside of humanity. Tea Time is
a sociopath.
Yeah, he's he is a very different person and does not fit in with reality. Banjo is unfortunately with whatever his situation is, and he obviously does not fit into reality in a way that works well, and he gets taken advantage of as a result of that. The various other bandits also don't really fit in with society in their own various ways. The one wizard doesn't fit in because he's not doing so well with his grades and needs to make up the extra expense because of his gambling habit. The Tooth Fairy doesn't fit in because they got attached to humanity, similar to how Death did, and it changed their nature as a metaphysical entity. And am I missing anyone of particular importance?
The auditors don't fit into reality because they suck.
In seriousness, the auditors don't fit into reality because they're not part of reality. They exist externally and do not comprehend the way reality functions. And instead of just existing, they try to force reality to fit their perceptions and their desires.
They try to audit everything in reality so they can find meaning in it, and therefore miss the entire point of life, which kind of itself can be read as a meta commentary on life, because how often do you get to see people get into an argument about, I need to find a purpose in life, what's the meaning of life, versus just be?
This is actually, that actually touches on one of my favorite subjects. You are familiar with the concept of nihilism, I presume?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's nihilism or nihilism, but yes.
Yeah. For the handful of people in the audience who might not be familiar, nihilism, or nihilism, or however it's pronounced, is the concept that existence does not have innate, inherent meaning to it. Life is the result of cosmic accidents and cause and effect, and that there is no grand plan or purpose to life, the universe, and everything. Instead of 42, the answer to that question is shrug. Now, for many people, nihilism is seen as a bad thing because life being meaningless is seen as a incredibly depressing, incredibly unnerving, incredibly uncomfortable situation. People who have no idea what to do with themselves when they find themselves in a situation where they don't have a predetermined meaning to their existence, or purpose or goal in mind, and find themselves suddenly stressed by the fact that, well, now my life doesn't have meaning, what do I do? But I am personally a fan of a different interpretation of that. Something that has come to be called positive nihilism or optimistic nihilism, depending on who you ask. And this...
The idea that there isn't a greater purpose to life, just enjoy it while you're here, so why worry?
Well, it's a combination of that and if life does not have a purpose built in, that means you get to decide what the purpose of your life is. It is not predetermined for you. So, the idea is that instead of lamenting the fact that you have no predetermined destiny now, or never did, you instead find something to make your life fulfilling. You find a purpose or a subject or an interest that gives you a reason to get up in the morning. And with that, chosen by you, your life has the purpose that you give to it. You are not reliant on the decision of someone else to give your life meaning. That is something that is completely within your own control.
Is this the part when I need to bring up Nihilisa Frank?
Sure, go for it.
It's just Nietzsche quotes with Lisa Frank graphics, just to have that lovely contrast between the bleakness of what is being said and the happy, aggressively 90s aesthetic. It's so jarring, it cracks me up every time.
Stupid bear.
Yeah, that's all. I just wanted to bring that up because that's kind of what I think of with optimistic nihilism, is just...
Yeah, that's not at all what that means, but that is also hilarious. And
I just meant the contrast of, like, here's the message, here's the aesthetic, where these do not match up the way you would expect them to, and that's, I think, kind of similar in a very bonkers way. No, I do get what you mean. It's embrace the void and make something good out of it, rather than go mad from it.
Yeah, it's... Instead of staring into the abyss until the abyss stares back, stare into the abyss, and when the abyss stares back, offer it cookies.
Burn the abyss down with lemons.
I actually do really like lemon cookies.
Okay. But yeah, something else I had on the notes here was, despite the fact that we can look at how that drive to be special, that need to have something different from meaning, or that rejection of a higher calling in some way, the thing that really matters to the story is the fact that what makes these characters different is ultimately what saves the day. Banjo's childlike mind as an adult is what lets him become the new Tooth Fairy. Susan's abilities to interact with the supernatural are the only reason she's aware of the problem in the first place, to be able to solve it. And the fact that she's standing kind of between humanity and anthropomorphic personifications is why she's basically the only one who could have helped. If Death only did his job as Death, the Hogfather would be gone, and the Auditors would have succeeded. So it's... Yes, there is a drive to conform, to want something other than the lot you've been given, but as happens so often in fiction, it is the things that make you unique, the things that you don't like about yourself that often turn out to be what you need just to have things work out okay. I also do want to note that the anti-nihilism is why I loved the later seasons of The Good Place so much. But again, spoilers.
The Good Place is a very good show. If you haven't seen it, we highly recommend it.
It is so intensely quotable.
And yes, the first the first season does start off with the very clear indication that all of these people are terrible, and there's not going to be anybody here that is worth watching.
But that's what makes it
Trust
fun
me,
to
they get better.
watch.
I didn't enjoy it at first, but they really get better in time. So, if you've watched the first
Sometimes
few,
you have to-
if you watch the first couple of episodes and the characters just kind of grate on you a little, just trust me, it gets better. They get better.
Sometimes you have to trust the writers. Trust the story. Sometimes it'll fail, but sometimes it will pay off. Like, it kind of holds true for Discworld too. Color of Magic and the Light Fantastic are not great compared to the rest of the series.
Mm-hmm.
And if you had read those alone and given up on the series, you could be forgiven if that's the only impression you had. But stick it out, try a little more, it pays off so well. Yeah, I'm not really sure what else to add on this.
I'm not really sure either. I think we've kind of run this particular subject down.
Alright.
So we will see you all next time for the final episode of Hogfather and Pokemon Christmas. See you next time.